coronavirus infections have again increased in Germany just days after the country eased its lockdown restrictions. Meanwhile, a new wave of infections are feared in China and South Korea with increase in coronavirus cases after easing lockdown restrictions. On the other hand, Indian Railways is planning to restart passenger trains in a phased manner from tomorrow, 5 days before the end of the national lockdown to break the coronavirus chain of transmission. Good morning, I am Bipashna Tamang and these are the headlines of the hour. Foreign Minister Pradeep Gyawali says the Indian side constructed the road link in Nepalese territory amid diplomatic efforts. Lawmakers criticize the government for lack of initiatives. Finance Minister Yuvraj Khatioda says the budget for the upcoming fiscal year will focus on repairing the damages caused to the national economy by the coronavirus pandemic. Coronavirus infections rising in Germany just days after the country eased its lockdown restrictions. Second wave of infections feared in China and South Korea. And Afghanistan's wicketkeeper, batsman Shafiqullah Shafiq, banned from all forms of cricket for 6 years after being charged of corruption in 2 franchise leagues. The Nepal government has expressed reservations against the Indian government's decision to proceed with the construction of a new road link to Mansarovar in Tibet, despite Nepal's repeated requests against it. The Nepal government has said the Indian government has been inconsiderate of the ongoing crisis of the coronavirus pandemic. The government has also clarified that it is seeking to resolve the long-standing border dispute through diplomatic and political dialogue despite India flouting bilateral friendship and agreements. We have a report.
Addressing the session of the International Affairs Committee at the Federal Parliament on Sunday, Minister for Foreign Affairs Pradeep Gyawali said that the government was aware of the construction of a new road link between India and Mansarovar in Tibet. Minister Gyawali also clarified that the government had urged the Indian government not to proceed with the project, however, the latter had turned deaf ears. Minister Gyawali faced a barrage of questions from lawmakers who wanted to know why the government had not intervened in the construction prior to and even during the inauguration ceremony of the new road. Minister Gyawali clarified that the Nepal government had urged the Indian government not to proceed with the construction, but the requests were not heard.
नेपालका अन्य निकायलाई थाहा नहुने भन्ने कुरा भएन तदनुरूप नै सूचनाहरूको डेसिनेसन त्यसको विश्लेषण तदनुरूपका चाहिँ पहलहरू निरन्तर भइरहेको कुरा म यहाँलाई जानकारी गराउन चाहन्छु पहलका बावजुद पनि हाम्रा रिक्वेस्टहरूलाई चाहिँ ध्यान नदिएर यो विषय अगाडि बढेको भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ म आग्रह गर्न चाहन्छु.
Minister Gyawali also condemned the Indian government's move and said that India had been inconsiderate of the ongoing coronavirus pandemic crisis that the whole world is reeling under. Minister Gyawali said Nepal had expressed its disagreement back then when India and China had signed for the road construction. Minister Gyawali also said Nepal had also sent diplomatic notes to India when it released a controversial political map back in November 2019, including Nepal's Limpiadhura, Kalapani and Lipu Lake region as its own. The foreign minister also reminded that Nepal had also publicly urged the Indian government to withdraw its army in Nepal's Kalapani region. Minister Gyawali said India had turned deaf ears despite Nepal's repeated requests for bilateral talks to settle disputed issues. Minister Gyawali clarified that the Sugauli Treaty signed between Nepal and India in 1816 clearly maintained Limpiadhura as Nepal's region and that any claims otherwise would be invalid as no other treaties were signed since then. Minister Gyawali said India had claimed Nepal's region against all evidences that prove otherwise. However, Minister Gyawali reiterated that a diplomatic dialogue would solve all the border disputes.
यो समस्याको नेपालले कूटनीतिक समाधान चाहेको छ. एकातिर नेपालको राष्ट्रिय हितलाई सर्वोपरि राखिनेछ, त्यसमा सम्झौता रहित अडान राखिनेछ. सँगसँगै असल छिमेकीपन, असल मित्रताको भावनालाई पनि हामीले सँगसँगै अगाडि लैजानेछौँ। राष्ट्रिय हितमा दृढतापूर्वक कायम रहँदै तर यसको कूटनीतिक समाधान खोज्ने गरी हामी अगाडि बढ्नेछौँ।
Executive Chairman of the ruling Nepal Communist Party, Pushpakamal Dahal, has said the government should hold a trilateral talk with China and India to resolve the border dispute with India. Dahal said resolving the border dispute required China's presence, as an agreement had been struck to open a trade link that goes through the Lipu Lake region of Nepal. Speaking at the meeting of the International Affairs Committee under the House of Representatives yesterday, Dahal said a trilateral talk was necessary to resolve the rising border dispute. Dahal stated that the government should not delay further political and diplomatic initiatives and urged the government not to limit itself in issuing press statements against India's move.
सुगौली सन्धि अनुसार लिम्पिया धुरा जो काली नदीको मुहान हो, त्यो काली नदीको सम्पूर्ण पूर्व नेपाल हो र पश्चिम भारत हो भन्ने कुरा स्पष्ट पार्दै यो समस्या समाधानको निम्ति राजनीतिक कूटनीतिक पहल गर्नुपर्छ भनेर जे भनिएको थियो। लिपु लेक प्रकरण पछि यो त्रिदेशीय जस्तो बन्न गएको छ। यो दुईटा देशले मात्रै हल गरेर चाहिँ अब अप्ठ्यारो छ। त्यहाँ चीन पनि त्यसमा संलग्न भएको, भारत चीनको चाहिँ सम्झौता सहमति भएको हुनाले
Dahal is of the opinion that the government should be prepared for an alternative in case a solution is not reached through political and diplomatic dialogues to end the issue once and for all. Dahal has emphasized on the need to summarize Nepal's weaknesses in maintaining border security, as Indian security forces had been camping in the Kalapani region for the last 6 decades. Finance Minister Yuvraj Khatioda has said the budget for the upcoming fiscal year will focus on repairing the damages caused to the national economy by the coronavirus pandemic. Minister Khatioda said the budget for the fiscal year 2077-78 will be prepared putting into consideration the economic impacts caused by the lockdown, the development goals introduced by the 15th five-year plan and the commitments of the election manifesto of the ruling Nepal Communist Party. Minister Khatioda presented the priorities for the upcoming budget at the Parliament yesterday and said the government will focus on giving stability to the country's economy. Minister Khatioda also assured the government will introduce provisions to relax taxes and monetary support to increase economic activities. Minister Khatioda clarified tax rates will be expanded rather than increased to raise revenue. The government will prioritize on small and medium-scale businesses, keeping in mind youths that have returned from foreign employment. Minister Khatioda assured of providing required resources to transform the country's agriculture sector. The Federal Parliament will hold budget discussions from today. Based on the Constitution, the government should announce its budget on 28th of May. The government has decided it will not include any new programs for the upcoming fiscal year, citing lack of resources as a result of the impact of the coronavirus pandemic on the country's economy. The government has planned to include only a few priority projects, and the Finance Ministry has directed the departmental ministries to prioritize their projects for the upcoming fiscal year. We have a report.
The Nepal government had aimed at collecting 1,112 billion rupees in revenue in the ongoing fiscal year. However, in 9 months, the revenues stand at 603 billion rupees, which is merely 54% of the target. This has affected the government's plan for the upcoming fiscal year, and the Finance Ministry has directed all the departmental ministries to prioritize their projects for the upcoming year before putting forth their proposals. The Finance Ministry has urged all the ministries to propose for projects that will be easy to complete and produce results right away. Analysts opine this likely means that projects like urban development will not receive budget for the upcoming fiscal year. The government is also planning to limit its budget to the national pride projects, citing resources will be needed for relief packages to compensate for the losses resulted by the lockdown.
80-79 को हाम्रो आर्थिक वर्षसम्म सम्पन्न गर्ने यी गौरवका आयोजनाहरू छन्, टार्गेट गरेर गरिएको छन्, जुन यो वर्षभित्र मिट गर्नुपर्ने त अलिकति ह्याम्पर त भइहाल्यो। अब सहज ढङ्गले अहिले काम नहुँदाखेरि यो 2-4 महिना ह्याम्पर भइसक्यो। त्यसैले आगामी आर्थिक वर्षलाई पनि हामीले यसलाई उच्च महत्त्व दिएका छौँ। हामीभित्रको यो मन्त्रालय अन्तर्गतको धेरै विकास निर्माण आयोजनामध्ये यस मन्त्रालय अन्तर्गत पर्ने अहिले मैले भनिएका आयोजनाहरूलाई निश्चित अवधिभित्र सिद्ध्याउनको निम्ति आगामी वर्ष पनि उचित ढङ्गले बजेट हुनुपर्छ भनेर दुईटा मन्त्रालयको बीचमा छलफल चलिरहेको छ र उच्च प्राथमिकता यसलाई दिएका छौँ।
बजेटलाई अप्टिमाइज गरेर गत विगतमा हामीले चाहिँ सानातिना आयोजनाहरू पनि धेरैतिर बजेट छरेका थियौँ। ती सानातिना आयोजनाहरूलाई अहिले टर्मिनेट गर्यौँ हामीले। जस्तो सघन शहरी कार्यक्रम अन्तर्गत विभिन्न ठाउँमा चाहिँ साना 5-7 लाखदेखि 25-30 लाखसम्म विनियोजन भएका कार्यक्रमहरू पनि थिए। त्यो ठुलो सङ्ख्यामा थिए होइन। त्यस्तो थोरै न्यून बजेट विनियोजन गरेर खासै गर्ने छरिने खालको कार्यक्रमहरू हामीले अहिले टर्मिनेट गर्यौँ र अलिकति फोकस्ड कार्यक्रमहरूलाई फोकस गरेका छौँ। बजेटहरूको एलोकेसन चाहिँ रिएडजस्ट भएको छ।
Meanwhile, the government is preparing to continue with the budget for the Local Infrastructure Development Partnership Program, despite the program facing widespread criticisms for financial irregularity at the hands of the lawmakers. Analysts say the government is preparing the budget for the upcoming fiscal year based on foreign aid commitments. In countless instances, the government-allocated budget has been misused at many levels, and oftentimes concerned authorities have failed to implement budget plans. Latest data shows the government has so far only spent 28% of the development budget. As the budget announcement is fast approaching, there is a call for the government to prepare well enough to ensure the implementation of priority projects and break the trend of citing budget crunch as the reason for projects failing.
Welcome back. Nepal had sealed its borders with China and India more than 1.5 months ago amid fears of the spread of COVID-19. The armed police force has been providing 24-hour security at the border with India and Sudur Pashchim Province and Province 5. The duty of the security personnel deployed for border security is challenging, especially during adverse weather conditions. 1,445 armed police are providing 24-hour security living in tents at the borders of Kailali, Kantipur, Dadilthura, Baitari and Darchula districts in Sudur Pashchim Province. Kailali district has the most number of armed police deployed for border security with 640, while Kantipur has 594, Darchula 107, Baitari 68 and Dadilthura district has 45. They have not been able to return to their barracks in almost 2 months. The security personnel have to deal with scorching heat, heavy rainfall and even spend nights under the open sky when their tents are blown away by strong winds. As the number of COVID-19 cases and deaths due to the virus have been increasing in India, many Nepalese living there are preparing to return to Nepal. The Nepal government has ignored the Nepalese living under the open sky on Indian soil, and they are preparing to enter Nepal forcefully. These security personnel deployed in Nepalganj are also at high risk of contracting COVID-19, as 24 people in the same community of the city were found positive for coronavirus. Despite the large number of armed police deployed at the border regions, people sneaking into the country, especially during the night, has not stopped. If these people are captured by the Nepalese security forces, they are sent back to India with the help of the Indian security forces and kept in quarantine there. As the lockdown in India has been eased at border areas with Nepal, the local administrations in the country are worried about the challenges they will have to face in stopping the huge number of people trying to enter Nepal. Meanwhile, the federal and provincial governments are not yet prepared to face the challenges. And it's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
And here's the question: why has the number of vehicles in the streets increased despite the ongoing lockdown? The options are option A, lack of government monitoring, option B, lapse in information dissemination, and option C, individual compulsion. The voting is on. Type any WS, select options A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And it's time now for our special segment of The Beat.
The high mountainous region of Karnali was crowded with people at this time of the year last year, collecting caterpillar fungus, more popularly known to the locals as Yarsagumba. However, due to the threat of the spread of COVID-19, a ban has been put on the picking of Yarsagumba this time around. After the restrictions imposed on the picking of Yarsagumba, revenue collection in the region is likely to be nil. The forest office in the region had been collecting revenue of 10,000 rupees per kilogram of Yarsagumba. The main source of income of the people in Karnali is from selling the herb. The local residents of Jumla say that each person had been earning more than 100,000 rupees every year by selling Yarsagumba. It seems that there will be economic crisis in the region due to the restrictions imposed on the picking of the herb during the lockdown period. Farmers of beekeeping have been facing difficulty due to the lockdown imposed in the country to contain the spread of coronavirus. Farmers have stated that there would be a big decrease in honey production as they have not been able to look after the bees due to the lockdown. Farmer of Bhutan municipality, Dimraj Pokhrel, had taken 100 beehives to Barnganga in Kapilbastu district for grazing. However, the beehives have reduced to 72 after the bees abandoned their hives due to the lack of care. Due to the lockdown, the farmers have been unable to protect the beehives and the queens and conduct bee grafting. The farmers of Bhutan have taken more than 200 beehives to Kapilbastu district for grazing. The farmers have to stay in Kapilbastu from 15 days to a month to take care of the bees. However, they are facing difficulty due to the lack of transportation during the lockdown period. A total of 12 people have died in the past 1 week due to the consumption of homemade liquor in Meghnad Gorhanna of Bhangaha municipality and Bijalpura of Bardibas municipality in Mahottari district. Although the Bhangaha municipality has been declared liquor-free area, consumption of liquor has not decreased. According to the local people, district police in Mahottari, Dhanusa, Siraha, Saptari, Bara and Parsa districts in Province 2 are involved in the production and sales of the illegal homemade liquor.
And that's all for the moment. Keep watching Kantipur Television HD for more news and entertainment. Thank you for watching. Have a good day and stay safe.